Hey, happy Wednesday, guys. Just want to share with you a quick story about a guy who I met a couple years ago in 2018. He owned a property in Hawthorne, actually a property in an area that sells really quickly and for really high values typically. So I actually dropped a flyer on his door back in 2018, and he ended up sending me an email maybe like a week or two after, and he said, "Hey, I got your flyer. I'm interested in selling, but I don't know what I'm going to do or where I'm going to go." And I said, "Hey, let's no problem. Let's kind of look at what the options are and figure out what might be best for you." So after meeting him at the property a couple years ago in 2018, we I figured out that he bought only 5 years before then in 2013, and he paid 400,000 for his property. And I said, "Hey, I think we can probably get over 700 in today's market." So he was stoked about that, and I was pretty happy for him. I was confident we could make it happen. So long story short, we listed the property at 690. We ended up selling at 720, and so he walked away with a lot of money in his pocket, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it was I share this with all of you because it was a prime example of someone who, we talked and we both understood that, hey, no one knows what's going to happen in the next 6 to 12 months, but let's look at what we know today. And back then in the first half of 2018, properties were selling really quickly for a lot of money. Interest rates were really good. And so, he decided to go for it. He said, "Look, I know what's going on right now, today, and if we can get X amount, then let's make it happen." So we made it happen. And it was, just a really good example of someone who knows that we couldn't predict what's going to happen next year. But he was okay with, if we can do this today, in the next 30 to 60 days, let's go for it. And interestingly enough, in that latter half of 2018, things started to decline, and we saw a few more price reductions. Interest rates crept up a little bit, about 0.75%, if I remember, maybe a percent. So the market slowed down, and so he looked at his at when he bought and when he could sell at that time, and he was happy with that. And neither of us tried to predict what would happen in the next year, because none of us can do that. I would never try to do that. Really, we can only determine and analyze today's market and figure out what's best for our clients. So it was just an example, just a really good example of someone who kind of understood what was going on, and I think he really benefited from that. And I know he's pretty darn happy to this day. He ended up selling his property at the height, and he ended up renting for about a year in California. And I think I know his goal was to kind of determine or to see what would happen with the market. It didn't drop too much, so he decided to move out of state, move near his family in Texas, and I'm sure he bought something pretty reasonable there. Your dollar goes a lot further, and he had a lot of money coming out of his Hawthorne sale. So yeah, just a pretty interesting story, and it's amazing what we can do in California, in Southern California, with buying and selling, and even in a relatively short time span. So it's pretty cool stuff. And if you guys have any questions or any thoughts or anything in terms of what's going on in today's market and how I can help you out, whether it comes to buying, selling, or renting any property, you guys know I'm here for you.